What up, nation? Welcome to another edition of the WiseTake free giveaway. That's right, free giveaway from the WiseTake Nation. Hopefully, you people that are watching had a chance to participate in this drawing. It's official. It's done. No point in trying to go there and try to, hop in there now because all the names are already in the Twitter wheel, as you can see. All the names are already spinning. These are the people that participated in the giveaway, and these are the people who have a shot to win $50 today. $50 from the WiseTake Nation, a way for us to give back to the nation, give back to our community of people who support our podcasts, our live streams, all of our free content. And of course, those of you who are subscribed to WiseTake.com, the core of the WiseTake Nation, the people that keep the WiseTake Nation running. We do appreciate all y'all. So we're planning on doing more giveaways as we go through. Like I said, it's kind of a way to give back and show our appreciation, and also a way to help kind of get our names out there, promoting us, and trying to get more eyes on us, man, because I think it's worth it. We've got some crazy shit going on in the NFL. Cam Newton tested positive for COVID. Supposedly a player on the Chiefs has also tested on their practice squad. One of the practice squad quarterbacks tested positive also. So that game's not happening Sunday. One less game on the slate. Never excited to see someone get ill. But as someone who tries to look at things, as optimistically as possible, hopefully those players are okay. And the bright side, I guess, if anything, is there's one less game on the slate. So you hate for it to be that way, right? Like you wish this shit on no one, obviously, but it does make the slate a little bit more concentrated. I think it's going to increase ownership, I think, and reduces the pool. And it was an issue. This slate is big, and this slate there's a lot of players in the pool, a lot of them. My pool, personally, like my teams, as I'm getting teams built, dummy teams built heading into tomorrow, and working on my article, which is available at WiseTake.com, my core plays article. I found that once I removed that game completely from the slate, my teams were actually looking a lot better. My exposures were looking a little better. I feel like I was a little too spread out before, and I think part of that was because I wanted pieces of that game. I did like Cam Newton coming into the week, and Edelman and all those guys. I did like Hilaire, right? So there were a few CEH, if you will. So there were a few plays I liked in that game. So it being gone, it's just gonna push me over to the other stuff I like, which I'll talk about. I have a core already kind of built up. My main core, the core in the article, of course, is more chalkier, but more like I think high probability odds type plays, and then I have GPP leverage section where we talk about the leverage plays off of some of the chalkier options, and then just players that I think will be low owned in general. Running back's very interesting this week because I find myself wanting, obviously, a lot of Kamara, right? But also there's a few other running backs I want high exposures to. Kenyon Drake is one of them, especially if D-Hop is out. But when you look at the running back pool, it is deep, man. There's a lot of running backs. This definitely seems like a week where I'll put a running back in the flex, and that's because I don't want to miss out on not having exposure to a lot of these guys. Like there's guys that are in more obvious spots, and then there's guys that aren't so obvious that are still in pretty good spots, like Josh Jacobs, who we talked about on the show last night. Do I like him more than an Alvin Kamara? Absolutely not, of course. I want a ton of Kamara, but I'm going to need, that flex position to play as many of these running backs as I can because there's a lot of guys I like. I mean, the list is long. That was the position where I think Hilaire was kind of jacking things up to a degree because I wanted him too, but he was jacking up things to a degree because the exposures didn't look right. But with him not being on the slate, and now I look at the running backs and I'm like, okay, I'm starting to get there. Still got a ways to go. Still got till tomorrow before we have to finalize these things. Literally 24 hours or just short of 24 hours. It's currently 1:05 Eastern on the East Coast on Saturday. So, yeah, I don't know. There's a lot of... it made the slate more approachable, I think, but obviously for all the wrong reasons. But yeah. Running back is where I think I'll be doing a lot of flexes in the running back, right? Receiver is deep, but to me, it's all deep with guys that I need correlation with. So receiver is really going to depend for the most part. Now, if D-Hop is in, that's a question, right? Because I'm seeing D-Hop's ownership projections fall drastically from the beginning of the week. He hasn't practiced all week. It's looking like he may actually not play. Of course, if that happens officially, you will see increased ownership on the value for the Arizona receivers. Guys like Fitzpatrick, Christian Kirk is also, Fitzgerald. Christian Kirk is also questionable. So keep an eye on the ownership of players like Isabella. Keyshawn Johnson, I think, actually had a pretty good amount of targets. They didn't connect, but they had a lot of targets in that game. So there's some value that could open up. We're waiting for that. If D-Hop does play, what's everybody doing with him? Because right now, I don't have a ton of them. But I think I want to. And me putting a running back in the flex may hamper that because I like to do triple stacks and correlations. So he may end up only being on teams. If I only go with running backs in the flex, he may end up only being on teams where the bring back was a running back. So if I did like Houston with Deshaun Watson, Cooks, and Fuller, the bring back was like Dalvin Cook, right? Then yeah, I could probably find a way, assuming I have enough value to make it work, to get him in there. Now, I mean, I'm just speaking out of my ass. I'm just talking hypothetically, but that could be weird, right? So if he's out, you get some extra wide receiver value, like real cheap value. But if he's in, now you got to figure out a way to fit him into your teams because he's got a really good matchup. Carolina in general is bad defensively. We saw last week Keenan Allen had like 19 targets against Carolina. We saw Eckler had a real big game against Carolina. Kenyon Drake obviously doesn't get the pass game work that we all thought he was going to get coming into the year. So that's a big question mark, right? That's a big question mark. Wes Bearden in there saying I'm giving away the goods. I hear you, bro. I hear you. But don't worry, there'll be plenty of players to read through in the article of just different thoughts and all that kind of stuff. There's a lot going on, and I haven't even talked about what my actual favorite position is coming into the week. So hopefully I'll have that up at some point tonight. I'm sure I'll be able to have it some point up tonight, maybe even earlier. It's probably about halfway done. It's like the players are there just kind of going back and then having to make changes because of the COVID stuff and working things out. But I'm curious on what you guys are going to do at quarterback. Which stacks are you guys rolling with? I do like the triple stacks this week because I think that if we can find that team that just goes off, that quarterback that just goes nuts, I think we're gonna have a couple guys with them. I will say that for like players like Josh Allen, I don't necessarily need the triple stack because I think it's a really good situation for Josh Allen to run. What I don't like is for the first 3 weeks, despite the fact that Josh Allen was smashing every week, nobody was playing him. Now he's projecting to be like the third highest or fourth highest quarterback, which is like, but still, I understand the matchup. And like I said, it's a really good position for him to run against a Raiders team that just doesn't stack the box very much. So, kind of good. Kind of good. All right. With that said, we're about, been kicking it for a few minutes. We may end up at some point combining the drawing with our NFL Y stream, which is on Friday. So the drawing may end up being on Friday for our giveaways. Again, make sure you pay attention. We don't know. We're not always going to do Twitter giveaways. We will be doing YouTube giveaways as well, where you have to do something in accordance with YouTube, whether it be comment or share or whatever the case may be, probably all of those things. But we will be doing that. We will be doing that also. Just right now, last week, this week, we were looking to get the Twitter retweets. So make sure you always pay attention. But we may take this show and put it as part of our NFL show. I think that'll be cool. Do it at the end of the show. Give everybody something to look forward to. And reward those who stuck with the show and kind of listen to it all the way through. Let's see. Wes Bearden, I haven't decided on QB yet. It helps with Mahomes not on the slate. Yeah, for me, I agree with that. I mean, Mahomes was a guy that I was going to have some of just because you can't have him on slate at 7,400 and not have some of. He's the best quarterback in the league. But Cam Newton was the guy that I was going to have more substantial ownership on. So, yeah, I agree. That definitely narrowed things down for us. Absolutely. My boy, D. Millie. What's up, D. Millie? And that ownership on Allen was before Cam. Yeah, you're absolutely right, man. And now he is Cam, right? Like the Cam people. I do think that most people are going to just switch to Watson, who was already going to be popular, because on DraftKings they're like almost the same price. So I think most people, it's the easy pivot is to find a couple $100 if they don't already have it. You go from Edelman to Fuller for another $200. You go from Cam to Watson, that's $400 total. So I think that's going to be what most people end up doing. But I agree that Allen's ownership is going to increase like everyone else, Deep Millie. That's a really good point. Going to be higher. Absolutely. And we did talk about it is a good spot for him. More than anything else, it's just a spot where he may actually run. We haven't seen a rushing ceiling. But because of that, he's the one of the few quarterbacks. I like triple stacks for most quarterbacks I'm using this week. He's the one quarterback I'm a little reluctant to do triple stack with. So maybe just Diggs or Brown, not both, because I think he'll run. I do. Wes Bearden, I'm leaning towards Burrow and Fitzpatrick. Yeah, see, I always do this. So my biggest issue this season has been trying to get cute, I guess. And I'm doing it a little bit this week. Last week I was trying to play a lot of Carson Wentz and guys that I knew were lower owned. I knew everybody was going to the top, so I wanted to come down low and get different. And it didn't work, but I'm going to continue that process. I do like some of those guys a little bit more because now it seems like so many people are paying up. So I just like the idea of it. It doesn't mean I don't like the plays up top. I do. Russ Wilson's in an awesome spot, and they're letting them cook all day. So I'm with that. But Burrow and Fitz are two guys that are in my pool that I have higher ownership of than the guys up top. I think Russ Wilson is the most expensive stud I'll probably have. And I'll have 5% of a lot of guys, right? 5%, even guys like Dak. But guys that are 10% or more, Burrow and Fitzpatrick are on that list. And again, part of me feels like, man, you're being too cute. Just play Russ. What are you doing? Just play Russ. Play Lamar. Play Allen. And I do like those guys. It's just the risk versus reward, right? Like in football, the contests are fucking huge. I'm doing 150 teams, let's say. So if I want to get to the top, and I want to get to the top, I'm not trying to min cash. I'm trying to fucking get to the top. I feel like my better path of doing that is by playing a stack that's lower owned, because a stack lower owned is going to automatically make me contrarian. It's going to make my team contrarian, especially when I'm doing triple stacks or double stacks or whatever I'm doing, because maybe those players are also somewhat low, or at least the combination of those players were low. So, yeah, I do like Burrow. I do like Fitzpatrick. Moochie says, do you like Josh Allen, Steph Diggs stack? Yeah, I do. I do like it. I'm just like, for me, it's with Allen, it's the ownership. I haven't been overweight on him all week. So I feel weird hopping on now when it seems like most other people are. You know what I mean? But I do like it. Westbeard, and lots of even projections at quarterback, and the good plays get priced up. So I'm leaning cheaper QB. I'm doing the same, man. I think it'll give me a different build. I also do like Kamara a lot. Now there is value, and we talked about there could be more value even opening up. But I agree that my favorite quarterbacks for tournaments are in that mid to low range, like Deshaun Watson lower, which includes Burrow and Fitzpatrick. Do you like Hawkinson and a tight end Matt Stafford Lions stack? Ooh, Moochie hit it on the head. So yeah, I'll be pretty heavy on the Lions offense. Now I'm probably giving it away, but yeah, I'll be heavy on the Lions passing offense. Hawkinson is included in that. Marvin Jones included in that, and of course, Galladay will be included in that as well. I really like that. We talked about it on the Y stream last night. The Saints secondary was already a run. It was already a pass funnel situation. They're like 6th against the run DVOA, the Saints, and now they're missing Marshawn Lattimore, Janoris Jenkins. They were already 21st in DVOA against the pass. They were already a pass funnel defense, even with Marshawn Lattimore as one of the top corners in the game. And now both of those guys, their 1 or 2 corners are out. It just seems like and Lions are home in the dome on the fast track. It just seems like a really good situation for the Lions pass game. I like it a lot. Moochie, what about Lamar? Lamar is actually my favorite stud. If I'm gonna find a way to get up, I'm gonna go all the way up because this is a bounce back spot, right? Washington's defense hasn't looked good since week 1. They got a couple defensive linemen banged up, one of their pass rushers banged up, and since then they've been terrible, hemorrhaging points. And I think that the Ravens are looking for a get-right game at this point. Curious to see if they come up in all this. I know it's been a while, but they did play Monday night against the Chiefs, so we'll have to see. I'm sure there'll be some COVID testing for everyone. I'm curious to see what happens with the Ravens. But assuming the Ravens are good to go, yeah. They would be my favorites. The issue, of course, is pricing. Lamar Jackson, you can play Lamar Jackson naked. You could play him just one. That's fine. But if I wanted the triple stack, it's more expensive than it was when he went off in week 1 against Miami. $8,100 for Jackson on DraftKings. Marquise Brown is like 6'3". Andrews, I think, is in the 6K range. It's not cheap. So I'd have to really, really like the value around it. You will be different, though, because it's going to be hard to do a triple stack with those guys and then bring it back with Kamara. Most people will have either one person picked to stack with him, play him naked, or you know, I guess I'll have to make a decision on Kamara, but I really like him. I think that Andrews is the best bounce back candidate for Baltimore. Again, I love the triple stack, so I'll probably find ways to try to get that done. And I guess you could also do that with Boykin, though it's a little more risky. But I think Andrews, he had a straight up bad game, so I think he's the bounce back candidate for me. Let's see. Tony A, do you like Jacksonville's running back? Jacksonville's running back. Yes, Tony A. Him and DJ Chark are my favorite bringbacks in the Burrow stacks. So I'm doing Bengals stacks. My favorite bringback is number 1, James Robinson. The Bengals against the run, they just haven't been good. And Miles Sanders, even though he didn't do what everybody wanted him to do, he still ran efficiently. He still had a good game. It just didn't get in the end zone. Fell short of a couple milestones. Carson Wentz sucked. All that good stuff. But yeah, I do like Robinson a lot. He's on my season-long team. I was lucky enough to draft him real late when nobody else knew who he was. And it worked out because I lost James Conner this week. So it was nice that I was able to just plug him in. And I thought I lost Chris Carson, but apparently he might actually play. So we'll see. I may have spoken too soon on that one. But yeah, I do like him. I also like DJ Chark as a bounce back candidate. We saw Minshew like to throw to him last year. I know this year's been a little different, but I'm not sold. The Bengals' pass defense is just great. I think that they're not as bad maybe as their run defense, which is why I like Robinson more. But if that game does shoot out, it's hard to imagine that we're not going to see another Jacksonville player probably in the pass game also do well. Charles says, could we still get on this giveaway action? Not today, Charles. I'm sorry, man. We got it closed up. But make sure you subscribe and all that shit because we're going to be doing this once a week for football, at least for the next few weeks. We'll take it from there. The prizes will vary. The types of contests we do will vary. Sometimes on Twitter, sometimes on YouTube and all this. So we'll do one next week. The cutoff is now, though. The wheel is set. So I appreciate that you founded us, and hopefully you get down on the next one, man. Just make sure you're following us on all the social media platforms listed above so you don't miss when we do one. On our shows, I think on the First Look show, we've been announcing these things, so where the next contest is. So on Tuesday, we'll announce the next one. But definitely get down on the next one, man, for sure. Tony A, 4-game MLB slate for Tuesday. We have an MLB show. Yes, sir. Yes, we will. As long as there are 4 games or more, we'll do a stream. And at the site, as long as it's 3 games or more, we'll do an article. So, I'm sorry, 4 games. No, it is 4. So, as long as there's 4 games or more, yes. Now, we are doing the projections and cheat sheets still for the baseball. Shiite. Let's see. Interesting. All right. What else we got here? Moochie, do you like Gallup, a wide receiver this week? I like CeeDee Lamb more. I'm not saying I don't like Gallup. The secondary for them is banged up a little bit, but CeeDee Lamb, from what I understand, is playing more out of the slot, and slot receivers have kind of had their way. So have tight ends. I wouldn't ignore the tight end either, but I kind of like CeeDee Lamb in a bounce back spot. He was a little more popular than Gallup last week, let people down. Now it seems like people are kind of bailing. So yeah, I'm okay with Gallup. I'm good with Cooper too, but I like CeeDee Lamb a little bit more. Truth be told, just a little bit more. This is cool, man. I like this whole back and forth. Maybe we will keep if we could turn this into like its own show, like somewhat of a Q&A type situation. Then maybe we'll keep the giveaway show separate. But I'm kind of thinking it'd be cool if we merged it with the other show. I know it'll make it longer. So I'm struggling with that. And like one thing with YouTube is people not watching the full thing, I think, is harming us in some way on our channel, why our metrics, which is why people aren't pushing, I guess, or why YouTube isn't pushing our shit. But we're trying to survive in this world, man. This DFS world is so saturated. We've been around here for 4 years now, doing dirties, just helping people make money and surviving these DFS streets, if you will. And it's about time we eat. So we're looking to spread our messages, spread our company, and more importantly, looking to grow our community, man. At one time, our Slack chat was bumping. We had things rolling. I went through some hardships in my life, and other companies popped up at those times. And, the excuses are like assholes. Everybody's got one, and they all stink, so it doesn't matter. The point is, we need to rebuild the nation. And I'm relying on those who are part of the community to do their part and continue to push our message. A lot of you guys really do, and you have been active and you've been great. Even when I come in these shows, I see some people in here already with, telling everybody to hit the like buttons and all that stuff. I appreciate it. I really do. Share the message. Would you baptize? Do you like Johnson running back? Not Duke Johnson this week. So you're talking about David Johnson. Yeah, I like David Johnson. I do. My exposure on him isn't as strong as it maybe would have been. I think that Duke Johnson coming back is a threat to the potential pass game work, but I still think, they went out and they gave up D-Hop for DJ. They're playing DJ. All right, like he's going to play. So yeah, I'll have somewhere like 15-20%, which for a running back outside of Kamara is fairly high for me. So yeah, I do like him, David Johnson. Darrell Henderson or Mike Davis on FanDuel? Oh, Chad, that's the question of the day, man. So I'm glad you said FanDuel because I think that's a site-specific question. So I crunched through my teams, look over, and I see I have 20% Mike Davis, 30% Henderson on DraftKings. And I really had to stop and think about that. Like, is that backwards? Like, I love the spot for Henderson. Giants offense does not look good. They're without Saquon. Rams defense at home. They're double-digit favorites. That's a big, strong correlation for a running back. He's at home as a major favorite. Perfect script for a running back. But Mike Davis is so involved in the pass game, right? He's so involved in the pass game, and like maybe that's not the plan, but it looks like it is, right? Christian McCaffrey got hurt in week 2. Davis came in, didn't get a ton of handouts, but got like 8 or 9 targets. And then last week he got double-digit handouts and another 8 or 9 targets. So I think on FanDuel, I think on DraftKings, Mike Davis because of the PPR floor. But on FanDuel, where that shit don't matter, touchdowns matter, I'd say Darrell Henderson. So Chad, that's a great question, and I'm glad that a very site-specific play. I like them both in general. I'll have exposure to both. But on DraftKings, I actually think Mike Davis might be have the edge over him, and they're similarly priced. On FanDuel, though, it's the other way around. Henderson, because he's the one like the Rams' offense actually good, and they're favored. They're expected to score a lot of points. Davis, we don't know if he's going to get in the end zone. We just know he's going to get a lot of pass game work, which on FanDuel isn't worth as much. So FanDuel, Henderson, DraftKings, Davis. Good question, Chad. Charles, with everyone being down on Breeze and his price being low on DraftKings, I think Breeze, Kamara, Trey Smith stack with a good bring back Galladay, Hawkins, good contrarian play. Absolutely, yeah. Yeah, Breeze, as of right now, he's on the outside looking into my player pool. Obviously, with Mike Thomas back and all that would have been a lot better. But Charles, I don't blame you at all for taking a shot. I prefer to get Stafford on the other side because of the pass funnel situation. I think that Kamara will be able to move the ball on the ground because the Lions' defense has been terrible against the run. But I'm not hating on the strategy, Charles. Not by any means, man. I'm not hating on the strategy at all. I think that makes sense. Low-owned, high-upside quarterback. Again, but Breeze, there's some solid things I'm worried about. Number one, forget about the road, right? He's in the dome. Number one, not having Mike Thomas is a big deal. He hasn't really gelled a ton with Emmanuel Sanders just yet, which could change. Number two, we just expect Kamara to just get a whole shit ton of work, which is not necessarily bad for Breeze. Breeze will throw to him a lot. But we also expect Kamara to have some rushing plays. So there's some, a couple things that kind of drew me back. Lions defense worse against the run than against the pass. A couple things that drew me back a little bit. But Charles, at the end of the day, when you're playing tournaments and you want to get different in NFL, you're not again, you're not just looking for low-owned plays. You're looking for low-owned plays that actually have that upside. And I know it's on the road. I know he's missing weapons. To me personally, I felt like the upside's limited because of that. But in reality, it is Drew Brees, a guy that's capable. So I'm not going to knock. I don't knock that way of thinking, Charles. I'm with you. Muji, do you like Josh Jacobs this week against the Bills? I do. Not more than other plays, but yeah, as a contrarian, he was 5% owned. How did nobody get that? The Bills have been getting gashed on the ground. And people have this stigma about not attacking the Bills because their defense is good. They have a really good cornerback. And their defense was good, but they've been bad against the run. That's the bottom line. Teams have been able to run the ball on them. That's the reason that their games are so high scoring, because they're having a problem stopping the run. So, yeah, I think especially with the receivers out, right? Ruggs out or doubtful. Edwards out. Waller's going to get a ton of work. Josh Jacobs. Those two guys are going to get a lot of work. They got Nelson Aguilar and Zay Jones, who are potential values, but realistically, I think they're going to rely on Jacobs and rely on Waller first. And if that doesn't work, then we'll see the Zay Joneses and those guys get some work in. But yeah, I think he's not a player that I'm going to have massive ownership on, but he's a player I definitely want in my pool because if he goes out there and scores 2 or 3 touchdowns, I'm not going to be that surprised. Moochie says, do you like Renfro? I know Paulie likes him. I'm not as big into him, but I think it's more because there's so many players with upside around his price or were around there, like Brandon Cooks at 4,800. I know Renfro's in the 4s somewhere, but I don't hate it. I mean, we talked about the receivers being out. Slots against Buffalo have been good. So you know what? I probably should be a little higher on him than I am. Slots have done the dirty. Braxton Berrios scored. Crowder against Buffalo went off, right? Like that was that first game, ton of targets. So we could see a situation like that with Carr missing so many receivers. The thing is, him missing Ruggs and Edwards, he doesn't throw to those guys a ton anyway. So that's the part about it. So is there really going to be an increase, or is this the regular role? Either way, attacking the Bills secondary with a slot receiver is probably the best way to attack them. Somewhere over the middle of the field, either him or Waller. You want to attack them on the middle of the field, right? Because they got a good cornerback, and the receivers for the Raiders, outside receivers, is not very good. Zay Jones. Prevent spot for Zay Jones, though. And then Dickcock McGillicuddy. Aguilar, who the Eagles didn't want back. Eagle fans didn't want back. All right, nation. We are going to get into the drawing now. This is how it's going to work. I'm going to click this little button. It's going to spin. It's going to pick the winner. Once it picks the winner, from the Twitter in which you entered the contest, you must DM the WiseTake Twitter at @wise_take. DMs are on. DM it. Announce yourself as the winner, and we will make the arrangements to hook you up with $50. Moochie, one last question. Do you like the Colts defense? Not a ton. I don't know. I'm afraid to believe in the Colts too much. Like, they played the Jets, man. You know, like, reception is so high. You know, the defense I really like is probably the Bucks. I like the Bucks a lot from a price perspective. Listen, I like the Ravens too. The Ravens are the ideal defense if you can get up there. They're all banged up, but yeah, the Ravens, the Rams. But my favorite, like, point per dollar is probably the Bucks. But the Colts, I'm okay with them. If it was Trubisky, I'd be a little more into it, I think, honestly. But all right, here we go, nation. It's time to do dirties here. Click it. Bam. Here we go. What's happening? I just click one thing. It just spins on its own, does its dirty. And look who the winner is. How about that? Long-time WiseTake Nation member, D. Millie. Very happy for you, D. Millie. Couldn't be happier. D. Millie's always in the Slack chat, man. Since he's come back, he's always been hanging around the community, always been a part of the show. He was a member for a long time, had to go do his thing. He's been back, and like I mentioned, our Slack chat is really taking a hit. It's not active anymore, and it's terrible. And I've tried to make an effort to be in there a little bit more, but it's difficult when you're running everything, running the website, doing the content, projections, cheat sheets, articles, and live streams. It's hard to get in there. And so we rely a lot on our fellow community members to be active in there. And D. Millie, Fritz Wentz, these guys, and then there's more MG. There's a bunch of guys that I'm not even giving the proper due to. But shout out to D. Millie because he's been there doing dirties, and he's been here trying to get the chat going and all that shit. So we appreciate you, man. So shout out to D. Millie, man. Couldn't be happier to give it away to a good dude in the DFS industry. Good sense of humor, funny peeps. Good to see you, man. Congratulations. And again, nation, if you didn't win, no need to be discouraged. Be happy for my man because you're going to have another opportunity next week. We will announce the next giveaway on Tuesday night. Again, unsure of what it is. I'll give you the details on the NFL First Look show. We'll announce the giveaway for next week, for week 5. Prizes and all that stuff. We'll announce it all. But, Chad's name was next to it. Let me take a look at this. Was that a bad beat for Chad? Oh, yeah, the Warrior Chad. Bad beat for Chad, but it's all good, bro. We'll have another opportunity at it next week. So close. Right on that borderline there. But anyway, guys, that's going to do it. Hopefully you guys enjoy this thing that we're doing, these draws. Even if we decide to move this show and combine it with the NFL Y stream, we're still going to do the drawing board. I'm not going to, we'll still do it live and the drawing board and all that shit. But tell me your thoughts, man. Leave it in the comments. Not even in the chat, but in the comments so I can go back and look at it later. Tell me what you guys think. Do you like it this way? Would you prefer to see it combined with the show? Do you like a separate show? If we can turn this thing into more of a Q&A like we did today with more people and kind of get it going and use this as a platform to kind of everybody get some ideas off their chests and kind of go over what they're thinking, then I think it's beneficial and we'll keep doing it. With that said, congrats D. Millie, for myself, the entire WiseTake Nation. As always, good luck.